Hey everybody, Necropsychotic here, and today I'm going to be making a tutorial to show you how I make my claps. This type of clap that I have here in one of my tracks is very typical in house music these days. It's not like a simple one clap sample right on the beat that, I don't know, you'll hear it a lot in every sort of house track. Something from the radio by David Guetta, or something more underground, or maybe anything from Deadmau5 to whatever. Anything today in house, you're going to hear a lot of claps that sound like this. It's not that easy to make, and so I decided to make this tutorial. This one specifically sounds like this. Doesn't sound like anything special, but of course it's not just a sample that's lying around in your sample pack. So I personally like this one a lot. It's very clean, very clear, has a lot of power behind it on the beat right here where the snare hits, and so it works really well with this track and my kick. It just happens to fit my track really well, and so we're gonna go make a new track, open up a new file right now so we can start fresh, make a new clap. We're going to be taking this one with us. Let's re-record it. So there's our sample. I'm going to save the sample. Let's put it to my desktop for right now. Yeah, and then we can start new. Okay, so let's re-pull that sample up. Sample desktop. There it is. Ooh, there we go. Get it right exactly. Okay. And then just throw it on your sampler right here. Yeah, that works. Type clap. Okay. But basically, as you saw with the snare, there's two parts to making a clap like that that are very important. You have to have a bass, a core that's very powerful, has a lot of mid-range frequencies, and you're going to get something like that from this sort of snare. There's a lot of snares that you'll find in samples, sample packs, and you can manipulate them a lot to make them work for your clap. But basically, you don't want it to be very long. You just want to have the punch of it, the very beginning, middle frequency sort of thing. So we're going to shorten this up right now. Very short, very simple, but it's going to affect your clap a lot. So let's go to its channel here. I guess 4 will work. Snare. And then open it up in an equalizer. It really helps if you have Fruity Loops, because this equalizer has live action spectrum, which shows you which frequencies are being played at the time of your sample, or maybe your track, or anything really, which is very helpful sometimes. For example, right here you can see that that's where all this mid frequency is coming through, right around this 2, so you can hone in on it and give it a lot of power. Very heavy. It's very I don't know, not heavy, but yeah, it's got a lot of punch. So that's exactly what we want. We're just going to throw that right there on 2 and 4, and then we're going to start developing our clap. Now, for example, you could tell this clap is not one clap sample. It's many clap samples put together and developed so that they come to a main clap sound that will land right here on this beat. Something like that. Of course, that's going to sound a lot better than having something like this. even if you were to mess around with this clap sample, still doesn't really have as much sophistication as something with more work put into it. I personally think so. So anyways, now we're going to start developing a clap like this from scratch. We can just turn this off, take this away, delete this clap because it's crap. So basically, you're going to go through all your sample packs and everything. I have this one. This is a hip hop sample pack, for example, that has a bunch of different random samples. But I like the claps in this a lot. So we're going to choose a few of them that you like. I like that one. I like this one. And I like that one. So we're going to just use them right now. And you're going to choose which one you want as your main clap, the one that's going to land directly on the beat. I'm thinking this one because it's got a lot of power. Keep it simple. Don't need a huge tail on there. And then these two are going to be kind of like your flavor. They're not going to be really, they're not going to stand out a lot. They're not going to be really loud. They're just going to add to your clap, you know. So you can keep it short if you want. Edit the samples to make it more clean, so there's not a lot of frequencies being played at one time. But okay, this is going to fuck us up. Put that on a different pattern. So now you can look here at 2 and 4 is where your main clap and snare are going to be played. Something like that. So you're going to put your samples here, but if you want them to go before your main clap, you're going to have to take your snap off, right? The snap, if you had the snap originally at 1/4, that's the default, then it's going to move around like this, snap to this grid, and that's something that you don't want because that's too much space. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to tape your snap off, and these claps are going to go literally just small snippets before the actual main clap on the beat, and it's going to give it distance between the whole sample. That's going to give it, it's really like this build-up sound that's very popular. So something around here, for example, and then do that with the other sample. And then do the same thing with this other clap. Something like that, and then you'll have something like this go on. And now it's starting to form, it's starting to take its shape. Of course, you're going to want to tweak with it a lot to make it sound perfect. I like that one. It's got a lot more distance between. I like it a little bit more like that. Just a little tweak like that can change a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to go with that right there. So basically you can take this clap sample. Here's Edison, for example. Actually, for example, what am I saying? You're going to need Edison. You can do this one of two ways. Either you can record it so it will match perfectly with your track easily, or you can record it as a one-shot sample, and then you have to find the right spot on the piano roll to make it fit with your beat, with your kick and everything. Either way works. I usually do it the harder way. I don't know why, just because it's easier for me, I guess. But we're gonna do it that way today. So you got your sample without the snare. The snare's not needed. Actually, you don't want to have the snare in there if you want to edit your clap later. So just go ahead and record it, and there's your sample right there. Get rid of all this extra space. You're gonna want to be real precise. So There you go, and there's your clap sample. So go ahead and put this back here. Name it clap or whatever you want. You can delete the original claps now because now you have your this sample exactly. And then you're just gonna place it again here, so that it matches up with that snare. Oops, that's wrong. Okay, so now you can throw the sample into a channel to kind of give it some more flavor if you want. I think 3 is free, so clap. You could do anything really. Reverb is pretty normal, I'd say. You're not gonna want any decay, or you don't want it to be too big either. Yeah, I mean, just something like that, it can change everything. Of course, always tweak with it. Make sure everything sounds perfectly on the beat, normal. That's going to be really important later. You don't want to have something offbeat, even by just a tiny little millisecond. It can be heard really well sometimes, and that can really make or break a track. But so, yeah, then you have something like that going. Of course, you can always throw extra stuff on there to kind of give it more flavor. For example, if you want a tail on your clap, you just find a random sample. For example, yeah, that's perfect right there. Just edit the sample so you just have the tail end of it. Throw it right on there. Yeah, and then that's a different clap that you already have right there. And of course, having something before that sound just before the main clap really gives it like more power when it finally hits on the beat with your kick. So you can always use more different samples to kind of make that build-up sound. For example, something as weird as that could even work. And then you have something very creative, very different, and it's going to be far more sophisticated than just having a simple one clap sample. And finally, this snare, I know it sounds really weird, but it's actually very important to have it there. I mean, otherwise, you're really lacking middle frequency. That's going to be, it's going to sound weird. Coming through speakers, your clap's going to be kind of lost, kind of just like noise. You want to have something to pull it all together, and that snare's exactly that's exactly the job that it does. So, if this tutorial helped you at all, then write something nice, like it, subscribe. I'll be making more tutorials in the future. And if you want something specific, then please send me a message. I will gladly make another tutorial if I know how to do it. And of course, check out my music. Yeah, and that's all we're going to be looking at today. So, see you next time.